So the Currency Cloud is a international payments technology. We have a payments engine, and our service, which includes foreign exchange all the way through to payments, is accessed through a single interface over our API. So what's unique about us is both the technology, which makes payment service available to many different kinds of firms, and the business model that we use in presenting it. We provide a software service business model as opposed to sort of the more traditional brokerage kind of business model in the world of payments. So we have both a novel technology and a novel business model. One of the major obstacles, and I wouldn't say necessarily the next 12 months, but is that money transfers have tremendous amounts of friction. Every country does it differently, and that really represents the world of foreign exchange. The local payment method in Turkey will be different than the one in Brazil, will be different than the one in the US. So we don't expect there to be standardization at any time soon. So in terms of sort of long term, there's the issue of massive amounts of friction, which can only be overcome through technology. I think maybe more interesting that you want. I would say the most important challenge that our industry has in the near term is regulation and compliance. Every time you hear about a banking scandal, whether it has anything to do with our industry or not, the regulatory and the compliance standard keeps put up. We find that appropriate. There was the issue in the UK about Somali remittances when the Barclays Bank turned off a number of money transfer firms. So we have to basically use our technology and our processes to keep up an incredibly high compliance standard. And that standard is really the major, I wouldn't call it an obstacle, but the major issue that firms in our business have to overcome in the next 12 months. The trend in the financial service industry that we find incredibly exciting and which we are part of is, we've tried to call it Lego, but it's basically the disaggregation of financial services into distinct parts. We do international payments, someone else does loans, someone else will do trade finance, and you have a whole series of specialized companies who then focus on one very specific part of the financial services value chain, but through APIs, through standard interfaces, businesses can then knit these together so that they can get a really optimized set of products and services in finance. So the trend is the Legoization of the world of finance into specialist providers, and that's basically taking away a banking kind of monopoly. The bank itself will have every conceivable function under its roof, and that certainly has a value. We think that providers like ourselves and many, many others, by focusing, in our case, on international payments, can really optimize that, but yet through the use of Lego, or the use of API, make that fit into a whole offering of financial services. A lot of the world of payment had been thought of in terms of price. Certainly in the world that the Currency Cloud works in, there's both the cost to exchange funds and the cost to pay. We think the challenge going forward, and this in some ways is related to compliance as well, is the ability to track and report. We know that we can change money, and we know that we can actually send funds for the customer. But in order to provide the level of service that our customers want, they need to know where their funds are all the time, and that requires, sort of, I would say, a superior level of technology and a superior level of customer service. So I think the challenge for payment experts is not around pricing, but it's around customer service and around allowing the customer to know where their funds are all the time inside the payment network. So the Currency Cloud is a business payments service. And though plenty of our customers use the service for remittances to migrating populations, we tend to focus on business-to-business payments. And the last and the most interesting unexploited market in that is the United States. Since it's the largest market in terms of business payments as a single market, but because the economy itself is so large, the actual percentage of international payments is small, so it gets less attention. We're going to be in the next year providing our service to payment firms in the US. US firms are very constrained in terms of using banks, the prices are high, the services are weak, the compliance burden is very high, and we will be able to do that because we've done that. So in terms of providing customer service, people who want to make payments, we think the US is the most important for us. In terms of paying out, we continue to pay out in 120 countries throughout the world, and are developing our sort of global network throughout Asia, Africa, and Latin America. But it's really customers from the US paying all of their global bills that are really going to be our focus in the next